In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to install an invisible zipper. Invisible. Hi friends, welcome back to So Obvious. I'm a polymer. The first way is going to be the way that the instructions are in the packet when you buy the invisible zipper. And the second way is going to be a way that I recently learned on YouTube that I think is really great, and it's probably the way I'm going to install most of my invisible zippers from now on, because it just looks so much nicer, so much better. Now for the second method we're going to learn today, we're going to use the method that I learned from a video that I saw recently here on YouTube. It actually has a few extra steps than the one that we just did, but it makes everything a lot simpler. There's no confusion. The odds of you sewing the second tape of the zipper backwards or rolled around or whatever is a lot less likely to happen. And it actually makes the whole installation a little bit similar to all the other zipper installations that we've learned, where it starts off with a seam where the part where the zipper is going to be is actually a basting stitch. So what I did already here is I marked where my zipper length is going to end, and I already notched it. So before we go over to our sewing machine, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press our zipper open like we did last time. We're going to make sure that the coils go from being on the wrong side of the zipper to the right side of the zipper. Alright, so our zipper is turning into itself, so we know everything's right. Now we're going to go and stitch a basting stitch here, and then a regular stitch from here on down at 5/8 of an inch. Once you have your seam sewn, make sure you press it open. Next, we're going to take our zipper and we're going to essentially force this part open here and lay it down so that the zipper teeth are in the middle of that seam. And we're going to pin them, but we're going to try and keep it so that we're not going through all the layers, but just through the seam allowance. So now that we've done all this pinning, we have a choice. I've done this next step, and I've also not done it. And I think both ways it still turned out pretty good. What we can do is thread our hand sewing needles and baste from the zipper into the seam allowance and baste all the way down to our notches on both sides. Or, since I told you guys to make sure you only caught the seam allowance and the zipper, we can move on to the next part. The next part is taking out our original basting stitch that we did when we first started. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that out, but if you feel like it would be a better choice for you to hand baste the zipper to the fabric, that is perfectly fine. I, however, am a lazy POS, so I'm gonna skip it. Okay. Now, we are going to open our zipper. Now this part might be a little bit tricky for some of you guys. But here where we stopped pulling out the seam, we're going to slide the zipper pull underneath it, and we are going to try and pull it through to the other side so that it doesn't get in our way when we are sewing these two sides. So I'm gonna take out these pins on the bottom so that I can pull this straight out. And then we're just gonna realign them when I turn it over, because we know that we're right in the middle. So here's what we have now that we've opened up this zipper. Now we are going to go back to our sewing machine with our zipper foot in place, and we're going to stitch here. If you hold it like this so that everything's on this side except for the seam allowance and the side of the zipper that you're working on, then you should be able to sew straight across a little bit past the zipper pull without any problem. Okay, so the invisible zipper foot is installed. Now I am going to put this underneath the groove to make sure it is getting caught. We're going to make sure that the needle, there we go, is not going to be sewing on the zipper feet. And then we are going to sew the straight stitch. Now, as I get closer to the bottom where the stop is, I'm going to make sure that I move everything on this side onto this side, and the only thing I have on this side of the needle is the zipper tape that I'm currently sewing and the seam allowance that I'm currently sewing. But because our seam is already done and everything's already pressed, you should be able to sew all the way straight down past the notch without any problems. And now we're moving on to the other side. And we're doing the exact same thing on this side. Lining up the zipper foot with the right side of the teeth. The needle so that it's in the right position. And now we go back to our work table. Once you have everything sewn, I already did it, I should have done it on camera, but sorry. You can put your zipper foot up here to where you got the open seam, then you just pull it all the way up in one quick motion. Now all that's left to do is to do some pressing. But as you can see, the seam is a lot smoother, it's a lot straighter. You can't even tell that there's anything like a pucker or anything like that. And then on the back, just like we did with the other zipper, you can either sew across it with your sewing machine, cut it, or you can sew a bar tack and cut it. But once you do that, you're all done. If you liked today's video, make sure that you like, comment, share, subscribe, and ring the bell. You can also follow me on Instagram on @polylook, where I post pictures of my current projects and any upcoming videos that will be on here. If you didn't like today's video, go back to the beginning and watch it again and repeat the process until you do like it, because I need the views and the watch time. Okay, bye.